What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, Sean Spencer, one half of that dynamic duo that's Let's Talk Football. And you see who I'm with. I'm with back on Hump Day. All right. Not like last time. My guy, South Carolina's finest, Will Kramer. What up, Will?
What's going on, man? Happy to be back. It's been a little bit. Bit. We've had some vacation time, but it's glad to be back and chatting with you again.
Oh, absolutely. I've definitely missed it. There have been things that have happened recently, very recently, but there was a long stretch for a while. OTAs finished, all that stuff. We're getting towards training camp. We're getting towards the season. I'm excited about it. Hey, welcome to Washington Football Weekly, ladies and gentlemen. Let me ask you a question, Will. How'd you feel about that new intro?
Loved it. That looked good, man.
Yeah, man. I was playing with that. Ash was doing some stuff for one of the other shows, and she did an intro, and I was like, oh, my goodness, how did you do that? And she was like, man, I just went into Canva and started moving things around, and she was like, I put pictures in, and there it was. I was like, oh, I have to play with this. That's what I was doing. I was sitting down at work today. I was just like, okay, doing this. You were texting me, and I was like, hold up. Let me just figure this thing out. And I was like, boom. So
that's awesome.
That's awesome. Buddy. But, hey, like you said, it's been a while. Welcome back. I've talked to you off camera about my exploits, but you talked about vacations. Have you been on any vacations? You guys gone anywhere?
I did. The big vacation we had was we made a quick little stop off in Herndon for my parents because they were celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary.
Woo! Let's go.
Yeah, it's a big deal. So we got a couple of the kids back together, a couple of the grandkids. We were there for about maybe even 2 days, and we had to hit the road again. So it was good times. They did a big celebration when they had their 40th anniversary. This one was much more pared down. They said they just wanted to be around the grandkids. We gave them a couple days of seeing them. It was a big deal to be at grandma's house. That's our first time ever going. So it was exhausting, but it was very, very worthwhile. And then they got a chance to go venture off and go back to where they got married and stuff like that and have a good time. So yeah, it was good. It was a good trip.
Now how long is that drive? Is that 8 hours?
Well, it would be. It's about 7 to 8. Yeah. We split it up into 2 days.
Okay.
Because as we found, the boys can only go maybe 5 hours in the car.
Yep.
And so we went to Greensboro one night, and then we made it the rest of the way.
Yeah.
The next day, and then on the way down, we actually had to push it. We came all the way down to Charlotte. So we went about 6.5, and that's when we found out it's just a little bit too much. But we wanted to get them back down here the next day to go to daycare. Patrick takes gymnastics, and it's at 10 o'clock. So we're like, we got to get him in there beforehand.
Yeah.
Because we need him to run off that energy to go down. The reason why I say I'll be there 8-ish is our bedtime with him, with a 3-year-old. We are in the midst of having a 3-nager who bedtime, bath time is just not. No, he's going to do his own thing. So it's rough.
Wow. Bucking the system that early?
It's rough. This going the transition from 2 to 3, man. Something's taken over his body, and he's fighting everything. So it's rough hours.
Oh, hang in there, Papa Will. Hang in there, my friend.
We're trying.
My goodness. Yeah. So, like I told you off camera, I literally just got out of the car. I mean, not literally. I worked today, but. Yesterday, got out of the car from Chicago. We left Chicago at 10 a.m. Chicago time. Okay. We arrived in Leesburg at 10:30 p.m. Yeah.
I figured that was so long. And now is that making good time or like is that what is it about a 12-hour drive?
We made pretty good time. Honestly, we only stopped a couple times. It was just, quick pee, fill up, that type of stuff. And in those, some of those, Indiana and get through Ohio, the gas is considerably cheaper to where, we're paying over $5 around here. Ooh. There, it was something like $4.86, stuff like that. So, it was easy to fill up and that type of stuff. It really wasn't that bad. It was a smooth ride. We were talking back and forth. Okay. And it was funny because we had all that stuff from the trip, which, ladies and gentlemen, I was in Chicago with her twin sister for Pride. And I thought I was getting a vacation, ladies and gentlemen, but it was more like work. More like work. It was a fun time. We got to see a lot of people that we haven't seen in a long time, and it was really nice being able to do that, being able to kind of go around. This is going to be her sister's maybe her last year at this place, and where she lives is right off Broadway, which is the main strip of the Pride Parade. And she lives on this road called Briar Place. So it's literally you come out of her place and you can come right there, post up, and watch the whole parade and everything like that. So it's a nice space. She is a pretty stern host. So she needs to get up very early in the morning to make sure everything's right. But kudos to her. She put on a great party. Everything went well. And Kat and I were the house parents to put out any fires that needed putting out. So I didn't get much rest.
Oh boy.
So the ride back was the most rest that I had. But again, it was fun. It was a good time. It was good seeing everybody. And their birthday is coming up this Sunday. The twins' birthday is this Sunday. So guess who's going to fly into Norfolk? The twin. She's going to be in Norfolk, and we will be hanging out at Virginia Beach for her birthday.
2 weekends in a row. All right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
You're living a dream.
You're right. Oh, man. So this is going to be an interesting time. Pray for me, Will. Pray for me.
I will. I will.
My guy, Nathan Snell, is here. Do you smell it?
All right.
What up now?
Nathan.
How you doing? But look, hey, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, real quick. My parents, finally, after all these years, I think over 20 years at our house, my parents sold their house.
Oh.
Yes. They signed the papers, I believe, the 6th, and they already bought a house in North Carolina in Wytheville. And so they're about 30 minutes from my grandparents and about like an hour and a half from her, my uncle and that family. So that's where we're from, North Carolina. So
I know that. We go up there on 77.
Oh yeah.
It takes 77 to 81.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So man, they're from the cold part.
Yeah.
It gets chilly there in the winter.
Oh yeah. And I like that personally. Kat does it. She likes heat. But yes, you do. So I am excited about that. They will be moving down next week. So shout out to my parents.
That's awesome.
They're doing that. It's weird because, we didn't live too far apart. We've always been like that. My mom was like that with her parents until she moved to Virginia. She didn't live that far from them. It's just that kind of connection. And so now I haven't really processed it. Like, oh snap, we're leaving. Like this is done. Huh?
Yeah.
The house that I snuck out of, the house that Jack pushed me up on my shoulders to get me into my top window.
I don't think I knew this story. Oh,
yes.
My God.
One night out with all of us, and I got home and I was like, oh, I forgot my keys. And Jack was about to drive off. I said, Jack, come back. I said, I need you to push me up. It's my window. I left my window undone. And I literally was up on his shoulders up and to get into my window. He does it. Jack, I owe you one. I owe you 2 for the Hawaiian punch. But hey, we're going to move on and talk about some football. Yo, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being with us. Damn, Sean, can you get a break? I know, man. I know. What's so great about North Carolina? Hey, that's where my family is from. And that's one of my favorite places. Absolutely. The Carolina is the same kind, especially South Carolina. Oh, they ain't like us.
The same. It's what? I don't really understand what he means, but yeah. All right.
We're moving on. What's good? What is good, Andrew? Yo, we are back watching Football Weekly. We have the biggest news. You see the background. Will Kramer finally, it has happened. Terry McLaurin gets the contract extension, 3 years, $71 million, 28 guaranteed. About damn time, Will.
I know.
Talk to me, man. Talk to me about it.
Yeah. So, like you said, 3-year deal. It makes a lot of sense. They're paying him in his prime. When he's 30, he'll be released to figure out what's next. So they're getting him in the prime. Let me ask you, was there ever a doubt in your mind?
Ab, shout out to our guy Ab, that diehard Washington fan with us. He did put a little twinge when he was talking about the trade. I talked to a couple other people. They were talking about potential spots, and the fact that we weren't getting it done made me wonder. But something I heard in the podcast you sent me was Ben Standig, where it was, I knew there was Jerome Payne there, and I knew before anything happened on that front, you were going to have to deal with this. So they kind of played together. So I figured I figured we wouldn't be foolish enough to let him go. Mm-hmm. I would say I was about 85% the most time. I did let a little creep in, but I was about 85%.
Okay.
We were good.
Yeah. So. See, I had no doubt that this was going to happen.
Okay.
Listening to Ron talk over the last couple of years, he said similar stuff about Jonathan Allen, and it's production, but it's about being a certain teammate. And I agree with what Nathan's saying there, how the media they need something to talk about, and it's like, I do think the team got a little sticker shock when Christian Kirk signed for 23,000 or 23 million a year. I think they were looking to sign him around that 22 a year ballpark. Yeah. And then when that happened, that went out the window. And I think his agent said, now we're here. You see the screen there. And Washington was here, and they had to find a way to come, and I think that's what took a little bit longer. I thought this was going to happen in training camp.
Yeah.
But I was never in doubt. I'll be honest. I never thought this would be that. This is not the type of player you let go. Right. And it's what's huge is for the first time. This may be our biggest re-signing in. I can't remember another re-signing that is as big as this.
Right. That is
and to a long-term contract too, not just re-upping our Kirk Cousins every year as we did. I can't. I'm racking my brain right now trying to think. I can't think of another time we re-signed one of our guys and we're like, yeah, this is good.
Right.
Is it Sean Taylor?
Right. You have to go way. Yeah, you have to go a couple years back. Almost potentially 10 years back. I mean, and the thing about it is, it's not just the one. I mean, over the last couple of years, we talk about this signing. We talked about before the Jonathan Allen signing, that Logan Thomas signing. You know what I mean? Getting McKissick back on the team. We are people. We're re-signing them and we're keeping them here, but they want to stay here. You know what I mean? Talk about the McKissick situation where he was potentially going to Buffalo and then turned right around, does an about face, and comes to us. That is a good sign. And getting a guy like this, our one of our leaders, definitely one of the captains, this will in turn, I believe, bring a lot more people over here because he is so well respected.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, hey.
Well, and one thing I was thinking of is, he was obviously holding out for mini camp, and that kind of makes sense that, that type of stuff. But I was sitting there like, we're in a fortunate situation that his agent is indicating he wants an extension. He wants to stay here. Right. I mean, if I was his agent, I would be telling Terry, we're going elsewhere because who's throwing you the ball? Let me see what this guy does.
Let them prove it to me.
Yeah, I'm tired of, taking passes from Case Keenum and Taylor Heineke, So it's like, let's dictate our future. So I never would have done this as an agent. But he was saying that, he wants an extension. And that just kind of made me say, like, we got to jump on this. Like, this dude, for some reason, wants to stay here among all the junk that he's been through. So that makes it alone said this guy's worth even more money.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the things that I definitely am looking forward to is now seeing him on the field in mesh with the offense. Yes. And I believe he is one of those type of guys that once he comes in, he'll be able to kind of fit in and get back into the groove of things. Because I really need him, especially with kind of some of the things we've been hearing about Carson Wentz. We need that chemistry, that relationship, that rapport to build so that we can move definitely into the future this year.
Yeah,
I'm glad we got it under the belt though, because that's perfect.
Yeah,
that's what we needed. That's what we needed. But yo, we're gonna go ahead and move on. Hey, OTAs, we've seen it. It's ended. We know what it is. They're in shorts. You know what I mean? It's not. It's not really mandatory. They come out there, they do their thing. Certain ones are, but it's done. What's your general overall view of how you think everything went?
Well, there's no injuries this year, so that's huge.
Yes.
A couple of years ago, our starting linebacker, Reuben Foster, ended his career during these mini camp sessions.
Yeah.
So that's first and foremost, that's it. But, it's like we say, yes, Nathan, perfect. That's where I was going with this. Like, it's something to talk about other than off-field contracts and, forecasting a roster. But it's not much, There's a couple things that we're going to hype. There's a couple things you see, but really it's a shell of what we're going to see on Sundays. So you can only get so excited.
Right. And I mean, and honestly, it begs the question. We've asked it. I've talked to Nathan about it. I've talked to you about it. How important is it? You know what I mean? I mean, it's basically pitch and catch in the backyard, things that if you guys have been trying to build a chemistry, you would have done outside of this, but it's just something that's been put a label. The NFL said come together. Like, how important really are OTAs? Not that much, but it is good to see something. And for the enthusiasts, the football enthusiasts that love football, and it's like, okay, we're ready. We're ready to get this going. It's good to see, but I am glad that it's over. Let's go right into the top of the list. We have to talk about our guy. We've had good signs early. Things looked okay. Then maybe, they start switching things up on defense. Not so much as of late. Carson Wentz, he's been kind of struggling as of late. Is he under the pressure? Is he feeling under pressure?
Yeah. So, at the beginning of minicamp, that was kind of all the talk is Wentz and the zip he's got and with the receivers and this arm strength that he's doing. And then week 2 happened and things got a little not so good. And what we heard is some of the things that are his downfall is pocket presence. Mm-hmm. That started to come out. We're going to mention the guy in the next segment or the next part here, but some of the defensive line started to play pretty good and we're putting pressure in his face and throwing off his timing, and whether, the knock on him at times can be either he holds on to the ball too long, which makes me think of that opening game for Chase Young, the welcome to the NFL, where he had a sack or two and a forced fumble, and Carson was trying to wait for someone to open up deep, and it was too much time. Or they say, he gets rid of it too quickly and doesn't realize, hey, you've got more time. Let that play develop. You've got it there.
Right. Yeah.
Now, the thing is here is first and foremost, Terry was not there. So let's remember that. We've got some injuries along the offensive line, but most importantly, I highly doubt he's running in any of these plays.
Yeah.
All right. So let's not overblow this by saying, he's showing bad pocket presence when that could have been a play that he could have ran. And instead he's staying in the pocket, trying to figure out how to throw the ball, in my opinion. I wasn't there to see it. I'm having to listen to people's take. So it's like, again, this is like practice. Why are you going to run the ball? Unless you're running like a 2-minute drill where you're really trying to get down the field. What do you think?
Right. Well, and that's the thing. Another part of that is that, we got to take into effect that there is another side to this that is also competing to, get their agenda across, which is that defense. And what has been talked about is that recently the defense has become more aggressive with, their blitz packages and whatnot. And look, that front seven, we talked about those inside guys, and we're gonna talk about somebody in a minute. Those middle three with Jonathan Allen, Fadarius Mathis, and Jerome Payne are really, really able to make, be create a lot of dysfunction in that middle. You know what I mean? And really are getting in there making big plays. And the guy we're talking about soon, Jerome Payne, has just been going above and beyond with just, how he's playing. Again, they're in shorts. This is OTAs, but still, he's sitting here, and this is something that you want to see. And when you have things like that for the offense, now all of a sudden, and Leno's out, and Lucas has been out for a little bit recently, but Wentz is still dealing with this pressure, and kind of sometimes he'll step up, but with him, what I'm worried about is he gets in his head with that, and then he starts getting this phantom pressure, and then he starts rolling out when he doesn't need to, and then actually rolling into pressure. Mm-hmm. And now you're creating problems for us. Now you have this left-handed throw and all this other inaccuracy. So this is the time to get that stuff fixed. But it's kind of like, it's hard not to go into your mind and say, these are the things that we were wary about before. The things that he did in Indianapolis and late in Philly. It's like, we don't want that. You know what I mean? So, but let's temper those emotions. They're not. This is just OTAs. Let's go to training camp. And he doesn't, like you said, he didn't have Terry. So let's get into that.
Right. You also mentioned that, they're wearing shorts. Yeah. We're not running the ball. We're not wearing down the defense, and also they talked about how, the defense was kind of improving a lot and ratcheting up the intensity. Yep. The defense also has an idea what's going on out there. There's not a whole lot of confusion by the offense. So they know a little bit more out there. So they do have a chance to kind of show out a little bit more. So, I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, my concern, 10 being like the highest concern about his struggles, honestly, right now I'm at a 2 or 3. Right. I'm really low with this for now, because it's June.
Right. And if it continues, we'll talk. But again, have a couple pieces missing on the offense. It's kind of really vanilla. So yeah, I'm with that. But I can't say, I cannot lie. I have to say, I cannot lie. I am very excited when you hear then the defense is really kind of ratcheting up a little bit. That to really kind of get it going. And that 3-piece that I kind of was talking about before in the middle, ooh, I'm digging it. I'm really interested. Warren Sapp came over and he was at our kit working with our guys. I like that. Is he going to be a coach maybe? I don't know, but what do you think about that?
Because that's helping this. I love that. Why would you not want to learn from one of the best?
Right.
And here, okay, so I know you all have talent, but here's how you find ways to get around, and fix your technique. They talked about Warren Sapp being this kind of quick twitch style rusher that Jerome Payne's got a little bit of that, where they said, Mathis is a lot more technique and using angles and stuff. And so, no, I think that's great. The more knowledge you can get is fantastic. So I love having Warren.
Yeah. I'm absolutely loving that, because one of the things that they were saying he was talking about was, kind of teaching the guys to be more of the pack defense. Like the pack of wolves, multiple guys to the ball as the lone wolf dies, he was saying, and it becoming more of the pack. And he was saying that, and, one of the things Ben Stanek was talking about was that, when you thought about Matt Ioannidis, he did kind of his own thing in the middle, as opposed to working together with Jonathan Allen and with Fidarius Mathis and Jerome Payne, especially, definitely have kind of meshed together. And that's something that we've been talking about, to kind of controlling and maybe getting that penetration in the middle, so that when our guys are, coming around the edge, that's collapsing that inside, not giving them any room to breathe.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was kind of, and it's so timely for Jerome Payne too, because he skipped the team drills previously at OTAs. And on minicamp, he was being very careful. But all of a sudden, in that second week, he said, all right, I'm going to come out here and I'm going to show my worth. And, the story was how he was just putting pressure right into Carson Wentz's face. And he was almost to the point unblockable. As Nathan said, are they going to focus on signing him next? I don't think so. I think they're going to let him play this year out before they figure out what they have to do. But it's only helping him if he makes an impact.
Right.
I thought it was interesting. They said, we've known this about Jerome Payne, where he does the little things. He does the dirty work. He's not going to be a bunch of sacks guys, but he had 15 quarterback pressures last year. I believe the year before, Jonathan Allen was ranked 3rd in the league at 17. And that was the stat that Jack gave us when he talked about Allen is worth the money because he had 8 sacks, but he also had 17 quarterback pressures. And I didn't realize that Jerome Payne got into the backfield a little bit more. So was that's a evolution of his game or what? It's kind of one of those things with him. He doesn't do the stuff that shows up on the stat books.
Right.
But the team knows his value.
Right. I mean, and honestly, I think the word to describe him is underrated. You know what I mean? When you sit there and think about it. And I mean, let's be clear. I mean, you have 3 other big names on that defensive line: Chase Young, Montez Sweat, and Jonathan Allen. So he can potentially get lost in that mix. But he absolutely has his impact is felt on that defense. And I'm glad that he's showing up right now. This is the time. Look, you've seen somebody else just got paid. You go out here and make your money too, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, hey, and we need it. Absolutely. But other than him, who has stood out to you?
Yeah. So a defensive player, a position that you and I are both concerned about depth.
Yeah.
And they said that Benjamin St. Juice made the transition inside to the nickel corner at slot and looked fantastic.
Yeah.
And they said he provided a little bit of that Buffalo nickel a little bit. That we were always looking, well, what's going to happen with Landon Collins? And they just said the minute they moved him inside, because he's tall, he's lengthy, and he's pretty instinctual, that he looked really, really good in that spot.
Yeah.
The big concern on him is going to be, is there any after effects from the injuries, from the concussions?
Exactly.
Because we liked him last year. They liked him last year. And then he missed about half the season, the whole second half of the season. He was out. So hearing that is good. Kind of hearing a little bit about the defense, saying the whole Buffalo nickel thing, the Landon Collins replacement's a little bit overblown. That's kind of put that thing that Nathan says, media always tries to put panic on us. It's like, what are we going to do about this position? And they were kind of like, we're going to go back to more traditional 2 safeties. We got another safety we'll bring in. They said they called it the Cinco package, going 5-2. A little bit there. So they kind of said, like, you guys kind of blew this out of the water a little bit. But no, Benjamin St. Juice is someone to keep an eye on. We could certainly need, some help at corner, at nickel. And if he's going to be good, that's going to help us a lot.
I think the easy answer is to say Jahan Dotson. I think he has absolutely been everything that's been as advertised. I love what he's bringing, and now bringing Terry back into the mix just makes me more excited. You know what I mean? This was the excitement that I maybe naively had for De'Ami Brown last year. Yes. But Jahan Dotson is definitely he is one that is really close with Carson Wentz as far as the chemistry and how they're working on the field, and I'm excited about that. But I also want to talk about Casey Twohill. Casey Twohill has been showing up in the absence, how with Chase Young not necessarily being there, he's been coming in there and showing him and John Smith-Williams. You know what I'm saying? So having them both in there, but Casey Twohill has definitely been kind of, flexing himself and trying to get, and now again, I have to be honest, it has been against the twos. But still having him as he's one of the the fastest D ends that we have on the team, where he has the fastest 40 time, and he's just starting to really figure out his role and then step up. You have more years in the system, you kind of are able to make more of an impact. So I see him doing something. I mean, he's been showing me something from what I've been picking up and paying attention to.
Absolutely, he seems to be like a solid player. Can do certain parts of his job, fairly well. He's something where he's going to be, that type of stuff. And he's lengthy, he's athletic.
Right, and that's good for now, especially with some of the things that we're going to have to get into in a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, as Will alluded to, there were no injuries coming out of OTAs. Thank the good Lord. However, we did have some lingering injuries from a year ago. And we're going to dive right into it. I'm going to go first, Logan Thomas. And word on the street with this injury, there was maybe some potential he could be back before week 1. From the interviews that I've heard from him, he kind of seems like, hey, we'll play it as it goes. Optimistically, I would like to be back. But with this, I don't want to re-injure it. So I'm not going to push that. And I respect that. So, maybe I think is the best thing to say. But, what are your thoughts?
I don't think he's going to be back for week 1. I think they're going to have to be planning on John Bates as tight end number 1. We don't know for how long, and that's where it's going to be important to see folks like Cole Turner, this guy Hodges, Sammy Reyes, kind of see who else comes in to be tight end number 2 for us. Because I think Logan's going to be out a couple weeks into the season. Maybe week 4, week 5 is when he's able to come back.
Yeah.
Because he got hurt. All these injuries happen either happen at the end of the season, sort of late in the season, or they were catastrophic enough that they're going to require 9 to 12 months of a recovery. And we're talking 9 months is, it happened in October. You're delaying your time.
Right. So, yeah, I believe it's probably best for him to, hold out, wait, and just relax. And the fact of the matter is we do have all of these other tight ends now that we brought in, and we're trying to get them in the mold. Cole Turner, Bates has been doing great. We can keep kind of getting Reyes in there, but Hodges, we've been talking about, and Amari Rodgers, some of these guys. AGG is still in the mix, and he knows the team and knows the system and whatnot. So I don't feel as worried about that. I am more concerned with him getting his health back to 100%.
He's the least of the concerns right now.
Exactly. However, there is a concern that kind of came out the woodworks. Chase Young. Will, what is going on, man?
Yeah. So the news that came out this week was that in his recovery, that he had to have a graft taken from his other leg to put in and help him recover. And that generally that requires an additional 2, if not 3 months recovery for the muscles to bind, to come back. That normally if you have just a straight ACL tear, your recovery, is they're coming back in anywhere now between 6 and 9 months instead of that 9 to 12 or 12 months time frame. So it kind of seems like he's been pushed back a little bit. There's some folks that are saying that this may be well into the 2022 season, as in like he may miss at least half a season in his recovery, which I think this is a little bit of a setback, a little bit of a surprise. This is not what I was expecting. I knew he wouldn't be there. We're not doing all in for week 1 with this guy. We're not gonna push him, but we may be looking at a half a season, which that's gonna be impactful. That's gonna be problematic.
Wow, oof. And he's another one you want to get fully healthy, but geez Louise, to think that could potentially happen, that not something you would be looking forward to.
It's that Washington curse, man.
It is, man. I get that field right, man. I don't know what to think. That's rough. And I just saw photos of him, practicing and training with like Von Miller or something like that, and him kind of getting out there. So take your time, get right, man. But I will say this. I mentioned it earlier with that, I'm gonna say it because I don't think Chris Bosh was a part of the big 3 with D Wade and LeBron. This could be the big 3: Jonathan Allen, Fadarius Mathis, Jerome Payne, baby. The big 3 in that middle is coming for Dallas. You hear me, Ash? You hear me? Let's go.
Oh yeah.
Yo, and Montez Sweat ready to come back and kind of have a comeback season that we need. Look, we'll see. John Smith, Smith Williams, and Casey Twohill, if they can provide. But I like what our defense, our D line is doing right now. Our linebackers, Cole Holcomb, who's still here. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna keep him at that role. Mayo's been playing pretty well in there. Jamin Davis. We'll discuss some of these guys a little bit later, but we might be okay if we can just give him time to get back to where he needs to be.
Yeah,
not rush him back.
Right. It'll be interesting to see if they need to go the route, and there's not much out there. There's not, there are a couple guys, but do they fit what they're looking for? I mean, you do have my boy from James Madison, Rondell Carter, so maybe they need to consider bringing him in, provide some depth here.
Yeah. This guy. Hey, wait, what about my guy Tomar Fox? He went undrafted out of North Carolina. Exactly. Hey. And don't worry about that. Once he comes to the North Carolina, Washington football or whatever, Commanders, you can see how he's going to dominate, man.
Yeah. You just got to get the right spot. That's all it is.
He's got to get in here. Once he gets in here, it's good.
Yeah.
But speaking of players that are dealing with injuries, also talk about Chase Roulier, our center. And he's another one. We talk about replacing a player. We got a guy right behind him, Wes Schweitzer, who has absolutely been kind of dominate, like kind of really working well in that center role right now in the OTAs or whatever. Chase, dealing with the fibula and also dealing with the ankle issues. He's another one that's gonna take some time. You know what I mean? And but how long do you think it's gonna be with Chase, man?
Yeah, this is I'm not exactly sure, because even when you have the player describe it as a nasty ankle break. When a player's kind of describing their injury in not so great terms, it makes you wonder. And not only that, behind Chase Roulier, the backup center, Tyler Larson, he's out too. He's recovering from something. So you got Wes Schweitzer turning into the center, the de facto starting center, which is preventing him from battling Trey Turner to be the starting guard.
Right.
So you're kind of, right now, we're kind of a little banged up there, it seems a little bit, but I don't know if they think that Roulier will be, will be out, that he won't be there for week 1. But again, this is just another thing that come training camp, we may be easing some of these guys back, which when it comes to new quarterback, new line, two new guards, you kind of want that center in there.
Yeah.
The quarterback of that offensive line, it'd be nice to have him, in there. So you hope he's able to kind of get back, because his happened on I think they said it was Halloween. Was it? So again, middle to later part of the season, it's just kind of when these injuries happen, it's just making their recovery timeline not great.
Yeah, it's rough. It's absolutely rough. And you think about, we have Turner and Norwell on either side, of him, and then you have, potentially Cosme or Leno Lucas, whoever's on the outsides. You have those together, but you want your inside guy. You want your center, the quarterback of that line, to really kind of get that mesh with those other two. Glad Schweitzer's getting this opportunity and definitely getting a lot of looks and everything like that. Hopefully he can definitely get some time if Roulier stays out for a considerable amount of time, if that's even an option.
Man, has there ever been a more like under the radar valuable signing than Wes Schweitzer?
Yeah.
We got him like in like the first week of free agency at one point. And everyone's like, who the heck is this guy?
Right.
And I mean, he's gone from guard to center, guard to center, guard to center. And, he's played a whole lot more than I think we anticipated.
Exactly.
And he's been durable. Thank goodness.
Exactly. That's huge. That's a necessity, especially on our team. He's flexible. He can go back and forth. So that is something that I'm very excited about. So it kind of makes you not necessarily have to worry so much about Chase Roulier getting hurt and kind of allowing him to keep, getting his health, on par. But look, I love to have, and we have plenty more at this position as well, but I am sick and tired of this man's name being on this daggone list.
Yeah.
I mean, come on now. There was a question a year ago, well, do we trade him after this? And we're like, no, let's let him play. We couldn't do that. But it's just like, how often is this going to happen, Will?
Yeah. This is one of the last 3 or 4 days they had him off on the side field as a just precautionary, just rest.
Mm-hmm.
I think in minicamp, we can say, okay, if training camp comes around, if late July and August comes around, this guy's working on the side field, now we got a problem. Because they were already talking during OTAs how you saw his speed and what he can bring. And if this guy can't stay healthy, then he's not helping us.
Yeah.
And now we got a problem. Because I'm with you. I'm tired of having to hear Curtis Samuel not participating, working on the side field.
Right. It's ridiculous. And now, hey, going back to Jahan Dotson, my guy, De'Ami Brown, hopefully can have, that season. We have our receivers and our tight ends that are kind of going to be more integrated in this offense. I would love to have him. We're not sitting here downplaying how good of a player he is, but I don't care how good can you be from the bench, from the sidelines. You know what I mean? So we have to get that going, and get him back on the field. Other than that, man, he's just a detriment. He's just filling a spot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Oh man. Anybody else on the list of injuries?
I'm trying to think. I don't think of anything big.
Yeah, I know you mentioned Larson earlier.
Larson is recovering, which if he's struggling with that, he could be losing a roster spot. You know whose name I don't hear a lot about right now? And again, like we say, they're not really in full pads and all that stuff. Sadiq Charles, not mentioned anywhere. So we'll have to see that might be one of the who am I looking for this year? Does he start to make a step up is he someone to look at in 2023?
Yeah. And speaking of names that we are speaking of areas where we're trying to figure things out, linebacker. I touched on it a little bit earlier. Where kind of are we? I've talked about we have Cole Holcomb there. We have Mayo kind of showing up, getting a little bit more into this. Jamin Davis, where is he? Has he been getting better? I've been hearing a couple things, but what do you think?
A little bit. Where are we with linebacker? Your guess is as good as mine. Because if you look at the depth chart, I never would have said we would go into a season right now with Cole Holcomb, Jamin Davis, David Mayo, and Khaleke Hudson.
Yep.
That's it. 4.
Wow.
4.
Yeah. That's great.
I don't know what's going on here. This is not how I've ever seen the roster constructed. I did hear the thing that Logan Paulson said when we were listening to that pod about how, Twohill and James Smith-Williams can play special teams and they take over some of those linebacker spots, but the lack of depth is a little bit concerning.
Yeah.
What you hope is what has been mentioned around, is it called Commanders Park now? Old Redskins Park.
Oh my God.
So what's happening around Old Redskins Park is Jamin Davis has a little bit more confidence in him.
Yeah.
He's got a little more outspoken. He seems to be a little bit more comfortable, which we could really use a big sophomore year from this guy.
Yep.
We could use him turning into that John Beeson, Shaq Thompson type role. Type player, that impact, that runner, that use his impact, his instincts, his speed to make plays, because that would be very, very helpful for our defense. And maybe that's what they're anticipating while they're not signing Landon Collins, is they're anticipating this guy making the jump and filling some of those holes, some of those gaps. What you think?
Yeah. No, that's something I'm very eager to take a look at because, they've had we know about Holcomb being the kind of number one, and Mayo's getting a lot more mesh in there, but we really we expected a lot from him a year ago, and a lot of times he just kind of just see it. You talk about him getting in front of the mic and having more confidence. He's more decisive now. You know what I mean? He's kind of learning more about what he needs to do, and now he's just getting to the spot. They were talking about one time when he an earlier practice where he had went up and the running back made a move on him. He was totally behind and he, totally missed a spot. But when he came up again later in, he's kind of paying attention to what's going on, and he sees the running back come out and he goes right to the flat, goes right to where he needs to be, and then was able to shut down. It ended up being what would have potentially been a coverage sack. You know what I mean? That's film study. That's getting in there and kind of paying attention to, okay, these are the tendencies. This is what this guy's going to do. Okay, cool. That's what's up. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, sir. Av Low in the building.
Oh,
What up, Av?
what's going on?
How you doing, brother? Yes, sir. All right. Yeah, no, so definitely I'm excited to see him. I mean, there's a lot of we always talked about he was raw. Okay. There's a lot of potential there. You have 1 year under your belt. But I like that he's more confident. I like that we're getting more of some personality from him.
Sure.
So, let's see if you can, rev some things up, maybe lead some people and do something on the field. I'm eager to see what happens this year.
Absolutely. Definitely.
So, and ladies and gentlemen, as we ended it a week ago, we're going to talk about, matter of fact, a week ago, we talked about this very topic. The House Committee has invited Dan Snyder and Roger Goodell to speak on June 22nd. Will, what happened on June 22nd?
A whole lot of nothing.
Right? Absolutely.
Yeah. A whole lot of one side treated this as a complete joke. They used their 5 minutes of talking point time to share whatever they wanted. In fact, the most entertaining part of that was when Jim Jordan, the congressman from Ohio, was pressing Roger Goodell on Barstool. And why is he, banning people from Barstool and stuff? So that was, I thought that was entertaining. And almost to the point where we're like, wait a minute, did Goodell just lie under oath? And he says they're not banned and they are banned. So wait a second, did you just get busted here? But a couple things that we saw. One, I thought it was funny, but it was also clown showish a little bit when they put up a placard that said Mr. Snyder, where his seat could be. They put a water bottle there to basically say, here's where you're supposed to be and you're not here.
Yeah.
I get it. It's like, they're kind of showing this guy chickened out, but you are supposed to be elected leaders, representing the best of us, which we are finding out here recently. We don't always elect leaders that are responsible. So I'm not going to go any further there. I'm going to stop there. But
you'll find that on the way home, guys.
Right, exactly. But there were a couple things that to me stood out. First and foremost, you found out why Roger Goodell is in the position that he's in, has survived a lot of storms, a lot of issues in the NFL, and is where he is because he is good at what he does when he needs to. And we have to remember, he reports to the owners. He is an employee of the owners. And in this situation, he's very good in these situations where he has set answers to respond. He came on via Zoom, so he wasn't there in person. But he defended the NFL's decision to not release the Wilkinson report by essentially saying they wanted to protect the victims, the people who did talk about, and they felt that even a he never went there. He didn't say this part, but essentially saying they learned from a previous time where they redacted names, identities were discovered. And in this situation, they didn't want to do that, which is partly true, also bull, because the Wilkinson report was done via an oral report. So there's no paper that they have to be giving out. So it's a little bit of bullshit from him. Pardon my language on there. But he's very good at answering taking your question, giving you an answer that doesn't really answer your question. Is what we found from Roger Goodell. There really though was no gotcha moment. Out there, they didn't catch Dan Snyder more. There was a story here, which just shows. And again, it's like, why NFL? Why do you guys have this guy among your ranks? Yeah. So Dan Snyder had to purchase some land around FedEx Field to add additional parking. He had to buy that land from Ted Lerner, who would then become the owner of the Washington Nationals. Right. And Dan Snyder was ticked off with how much they spent on it. He felt they spent way more for property than they really should have. And so what he did is when they went and toured Lerner's suite, he had one of his staffers. He said, go pour some milk underneath his chair. I want it to smell like shit in here when he gets here on Sunday. So he had sour milk growing and developing in the carpet to just stink. And it just shows how petty this dude is. And that's where it's like, even with all this, and Roger Goodell said, they asked him, why do you still have this guy? Why don't you fire him? And he's like, it's not up to me. It's up to the other owners. it's just this point where, like, other billionaires, come on, get this. If this is this guy's mentality, what other crap is he involved in? What type of, it kind of goes back to what we talked about. He's got to have dirt on everybody else.
Yep.
He must have at some point, called up a couple of them and said, hey, I know this is happening here, but do you want me to share about this? Right. Hey, Jerry Jones, do you want me to share those photos? Of you and those girls and party, what, that type of stuff. He's got to, because it's just ridiculous how much. I mean, this guy is Teflon Dan is his name.
There it is.
The only person that gets away with more is Donald Trump. Yeah. But the two of them just get away with everything.
Mic drop, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. I mean, because you can't say much more about it. We've seen what's happened. And going forward, apparently, did they subpoena him?
They were supposed to issue him a subpoena for this week.
Yeah.
He apparently has mentioned that he's still out of the country, and he would not be able to be here in time. So he's just pushing this. Like we talked about 2 weeks ago, he's just going to keep stalling and stalling and stalling us as much as he can. It's, that's why it's like, I didn't go into June 22nd with a whole lot of expectations, and I think that's just this reality is we just have to believe that he's gonna survive this like he survives everything else. And when he finally does get voted out, Sean, we can throw the biggest party ever.
Oh, absolutely. All around the world, we're gonna party like it's 1999.
Exactly.
Shout out to Ab. Thanks, buddy. He said keep doing your thing. Proud of y'all, man.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We gotta get App on here in August to talk about his season predictions. So, block off some time, man. You gotta let us know who are you looking for in training camp and your preseason predictions or season predictions.
Oh yeah, and look, and aren't you trying to defend your fantasy football title?
Yeah, someone want that? Yeah,
I'm coming for that one.
I'm
coming for that. Yes, sir. Yeah, man. So. Look, at this point, like you said, stop at Teflon Dan, man. That's what it is. He's getting away with it. He knows where all the bodies are hidden. He knows all of what's going on. Wait a second. Yeah. Absolutely got the time. Yes, sir.
Good. All right, we got to do it. We got to
set it up. Let's set it up.
I will say this. The only thing about this, and I think we touched on a little bit last time, was while it's annoying to be talking about this, again and again, it's depressing. I do like the fact that it never goes away. It's like every single time something new, even if it's minuscule, comes up, to just keep this, like, he can't get rid of this. And that's the one good thing, if there is of it, whether it makes any difference or not.
Now to further that point, to further doubt that part, let me ask you this. Do you feel like maybe there's a bit of maybe some people getting numb to it? Because everybody kind of like that's outside the Washington organization or, Washington fan group is kind of like, there's Dan Snyder again.
Yes.
There's Dan Snyder. You know what I mean? He's not getting kicked out. Donald Sterling said what he said, and they took his franchise. They made him get out. Dan Snyder has been doing a whole bunch of stuff, and it's been all found out. It's continually being found out. And nothing's being done.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was you or it was Ab. It said in the group chat, there's a different set of rules for the players and the owners.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's ridiculous. It's rearing its ugly head. I mean, we see Kraft. What happened to him after he got caught, in the little massage parlors? I never heard about it after that.
Well, rumor has it they're going to suspend Deshaun Watson for a year.
Ooh.
That was what I was alluding to with that is rumor is that Watson's going to get a year, which he's going to get paid $42 million to sit at home.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Cleveland? Like, if that's not the biggest Cleveland thing,
that's Cleveland.
Ever.
Yep.
Golly,
that is Cleveland.
If that happens.
Wow.
Now, there'll be an appeals process, et cetera, but there's two sets of rules, and it's ridiculous. But you can't have the employees and the owners not having any type of equality when it comes to conduct policies.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's unfair.
Yeah. Ridiculous. Man. Oh, man. Well, hey. Shout out to, our other dude, Anton Benton is in the building. What's up, Anton? How you doing, family? I will be definitely going down to Virginia Beach to see you. I had to employ some reinforcements. All right, some divide and conquer.
I think Anton should hire you for a day, and you should go be an apprentice on some of these projects he's got going.
Let's go, Anton. I will work to get out of being with twins. All right, believe it.
She heard that?
I love you, babe. Yo, so I'm definitely excited about that. We will be going down there this weekend to see my guy. And hey, from us to you, happy 4th of July. What are you guys doing for the 4th?
Not a whole lot. We'll see. The boys get vaccinated tomorrow, which we're very excited about. So
nice.
We will see how they were doing on Friday, with that, and see if there's any type of side effects. But yeah, we don't have fun plans. I think we may go to a pool. We may go to our zoo has a really fun splash pad. So we may try and get together with some friends there, but very, very scaled back times that I live in right now. Nothing exciting. Don't ask me what my weekend plans are. They're nothing good. What about you?
I can dig it. I will be out there at the beach with them, and for their birthday, which is Sunday, we'll be there on Friday. We'll be at the beach for Friday and Saturday.
Okay.
Sunday, it's kind of up in the air. Her sister kind of wants to do this. So we might potentially, from Virginia Beach, wake up on their birthday at the beach, drive to Baltimore.
What?
Then go see a concert in Baltimore, potentially stay there one night, go to a baseball game in Baltimore, then drive. She flies out of Roanoke, so drive all the way back to Roanoke. I'm gonna go ahead and take my drink.
I'm speechless. You see, Sean, this is the part where we are living alternate lives.
Yeah.
Where I can't even just hearing that makes me want to go to sleep.
Right.
No, I can't do that. I can't do that. I don't have the nightlife in me right now. I can't. How could you possibly do that?
It's rough.
Oh, boy.
I'm gonna tell you.
Okay.
It's rough.
It'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Who would be the concert?
So, actually, I don't know. Kat, who's the concert? I don't know. But it would be somebody I'm excited. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to give you the name of a place. When I was in Newport News, where I know you're kind of getting close to Virginia Beach, so the excitement could be there that you want to just get there. But this still may be of my time there, besides some of the folks that are there, I miss this barbecue place because they had such good smoked wings. They had barbecue sauces from all over the country that you could put on your barbecue. It was so good. So I'll give you the name of it. If in case you guys say, hey, we need to take a break, let's just stop. Whichever way you're going, whether you're going there or coming back, I'll let you try it. You will not be disappointed.
Okay. Yeah. What do you know? What's the name?
County Line.
County Line?
County Line. It's actually in York. Okay. I took Jack there. He loved it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's good stuff.
Oh, we'll definitely have to stop by there. That's what's up.
Yeah, it's real good. It was real good. That was a tough one to leave.
Oh, that type of place. Okay.
Yeah, I was
I'm excited about that. I'm excited. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go ahead and let you go. We appreciate you being with us. We will be back next week to bring you the news and notes, everything that we know that is going on, getting you closer to the NFL season. We are going to take you out with the new intro, but before that, got to shout out.
Is that what you're doing? Oh, you just got me excited.
Oh, yeah. But before you do that real quick, I want to also play my guy Anton's commercial.
Oh, yeah.
Check him out, man. My dude is a handyman. Anton Benton Pros. He travels if you need him to. He works on kitchens. He works on, tiles, backyards, decks, the whole nine. Get to him. He can do whatever you need him to do. Just definitely give him a call. Get in touch with him. I'm Sean Spencer, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with South Carolina's finest once again, Mr. Will Kramer. Will, always a good time, my friend.
Always.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We will see you next time, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for being with us.
Hey there, ladies and gents. It's your local handyman, Anton Bennett, here to help you with your problems. I'm here right now on the job site, taking out whole kitchen cabinets. A little bit more work to do, but if you got a project at your house that you need to get completed, I'm your guy to finish it up for you. Give me a call, let me know what you need to get done.
Your new company, man. Shout out to your new company. Go ahead and tell the world about your new company real quick.
Oh boy. So marketing Anton Benton Pros.
Yes.
Doing everything from plumbing to electrical to making huge decks to doing closets.
Yes.
Doing it all.
That's what's up, man. I'm super happy
Thank
for
you guys. Thank you.